Here.
And
Okay, hold on. Let's start over.
I was just gonna flow.
I know.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's Melina here.
And Tracy.
And welcome to our first podcast series,
Hey, sis.
Light That Candle. Let's go ahead and do that because
Yes,
conversation's going to get really,
right.
really good.
Yes, it is. So we're going to be talking about understanding self-love and what self-love really means.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, very briefly, because it is our first podcast, can you just briefly tell us a little bit about yourself? Just very briefly.
Yes. So, well, you already heard my name. My name is Tracy. I'm the founder and the CEO of Angels with Hope Coaching. It is a women's empowerment company that really helps women overcome trauma from toxic or abusive relationships by helping them strengthen their self-worth and silence the inner critic. I'm also an author of 3 books. One of my books is actually a memoir about my experience with domestic violence. Goes into details. I have another journal. It's called Love You, Embrace You Journal. And I have a book called Author Your Story for anybody that wants to write a book, have been thinking about a book, and it just gives you just some journal prompts and things that you need to really, really be thinking about before you hire that expensive publisher.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I love that. Well, thank you so
Yes.
very much. Like we said earlier, my name is Melina, and I'm actually the founder of Empowering Innovations, and I am the CEO of a company by the name of Mely Bee Co. It is a bath, body, and home fragrance studio in South Carolina, and this is one of our candles. Actually, I love it.
Yes.
So if you're ever in the area, come look us up and find us. But one of the things that we talked about was starting a series of conversations that actually matter. Tracy is a survivor.
Yes.
And so am I. And, in conversations, we wanted to do something that was off script, not particularly written out or composed. We don't have any fancy stuff. It's just her and I. I'll probably put my hair up in a bun in a minute because it's not about what we look like.
Yeah.
It's not about anything other than sharing, speaking, and being more comfortable with taking up space and owning our stories.
Exactly.
So today we're going to be talking about understanding self-love and what love really means, right? And if you see me looking down, I have my pencil and I have the lighter I did this with, and a little notebook if I need to write something down.
Yes, that's all.
So if you see me writing anything down, it's probably because I have some follow-up questions. But Tracy, tell us about how to teach self-love. How do you teach someone that self-love is not a selfish act?
Yeah, well, first you have to really, really understand your worth and value. Like, things about you that makes you unique. It's all about you really understanding all of you and really learning how to embrace every part of you. Once you understand like who you are, then it's easy for you to be able to do things, I think, that really, really nurture yourself. So it starts with really knowing you. Like that self-awareness, which we'll talk more about that later. But whenever you get to the place where you learn how uniquely created you are, then it becomes easy to really do things that really nurture yourself and really, really help you be the best you that you can be. So, some of the things that I actually do is journal. I've written a journal, and that's one of the things that I do for, to really help me be able to process like any kind of thoughts or things that are emotions that I may be feeling. And that's one thing that I do for self-love.
I love that. I always tell myself that I'm going to journal, and I'm one of those people that collect school stuff, notebooks, pens, pencils, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And I'm always telling myself, go ahead and journal. I don't stick with it. But let me ask you this. I know that it is a foundation for healthy relationships and growth, but having that self-worth and self-love is sometimes traumatizing because society and our life experiences collectively sometimes have really done a number on certain people and individuals, not just women, but in this case we are going to be be talking about just women and then specifically our personal experiences. And if I may just veer off a little bit, sometimes when you are in a position where you're trying to find a way to, express self-love and get there with yourself and just like really understand your value, it's difficult. And sometimes we can't speak to other people because they can't really validate our feelings, right? And so before anything else, I feel like your journal is a way that someone can actually do it quietly at their own pace, privately. But yeah, I think that there is value in other people who have gone through something to be able to share their stories and uplift others who are possibly going through the same thing.
Exactly. And like for me, I didn't love myself, and this is one of the things that really made me want to talk about this and really focus on the self-love and help other women is because I didn't love myself for years. I didn't have my father in my home, and I didn't feel like he loved me. I didn't feel like he wanted me in his life. And as a result, I didn't love myself. I felt rejected and abandoned. And I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And that's how I ended up in the abusive relationship.
I can definitely identify with that.
Yeah.
My parents actually split up while my mother was still pregnant of me. So at the beginning, the fundamental years without my father, I didn't have him there. And our situation is different because I wish my father would have stayed gone. But I can definitely identify with not having that support. For me, it was more of an abandonment issue. It was just, I was in the way. I was, somebody that my mom probably would have been better off without. I was slowing her down as a single mom, of my brother. So, there's a lot of traumas, that we all carry. Right. So these conversations are going to be raw, unscripted. Possibly even triggering, but it goes back to the reality of what self-love encompasses and the things that we need to work through to get to the point where we need to let all of that go and then just really show up for ourselves now, because when you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
And sometimes we just need to realize that there are certain things that we'll never get closure from. We just need to let them go. We can show up for ourselves now and start just growing in love with who we are.
Right. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Like I mentioned earlier, it's about really understanding who you are and understanding how uniquely created you are. And it's a process to actually get there. It's not an easy thing. Because yes, that trauma may come back up. That's what happened, with me. The trauma, it kept coming up, and, I was triggered by things.
I still get triggered. I still get triggered a lot. And I will have to say that I still, even at 45 years old now, I still have a lot of things coming up in my life that I know that I'm being held and suppressed or kept safe, however we want to look at it, right? Because of these things, because of these barriers that I have formed. They've suited me and they've actually kept me protected. And here's one of the things though too, and there's so much about these self-love and all these roots that travel and lead to other subjects. But one of the things is that we need to understand as women that self-love really is not out of vanity, and it is not something that is, we shouldn't feel like we're selfish, and we should not hold ourselves to some kind of perfectionism that like, oh, I have to be worthy of self-love. One thing is for us to feel like, okay, I'm not worthy enough of your love, but what about mine? I mean, I can love myself unconditionally without looking perfect, right? Because I'm gonna have to love myself, whether my hair is done, my makeup is done, on the good days that I'm feeling like a baddie, and those that I have the flu or a cold or my back and joints, are hurting and I'm in pain and I'm just like, give me